Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Canova, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Timeouts for the Huskies, down 2 scores. Marchiol rolling left on the money. That throw is pure. He's got his man Preston Slayton again. And that is a catch, but Marchiol is down. Nicco Marchiol is down in a heap near the 35-yard line.
That might be it for him. If I'm Coach Z, I might be putting an end to this. I'm going to protect you from yourself. We're looking at left-handed quarterbacks here. We got a bunch of modern guys, but how about, we got Steve Young, got Mark Brunell. I like that Mark Brunell comparison as he throws a touchdown pass right there. Michael Masudas, the corner of the end zone, delivers a strike. Good job, Nicco Marchiol. Most likely to end of his night.
It's not out of hand anymore. Less than 30 seconds to play. Huskies have a timeout. They start in Bishop Gorman territory. Marchiol to throw. He's got his man complete. Christian Anaya inside the 40.
Got the whole field available to him. Got some timeout, one timeout left.
2 safeties deep. Marchiol sees an open patch of grass and he takes it, slides for the first down.
10 seconds left, second down. We got a timeout. Let's see what the Huskies can do.
Here we go. Marchiol, the West Virginia commit, throws a strike over the middle. Touchdown Huskies! 22 yards. Nick Switzer. The impossible has happened in Chandler.
And that's a heck of a throw right there by Nicco Marchiol. They're going wild down here in Hamilton. The question is, do you go for 2? Do you try to pull the coup de grace right here? That guy right there is a warrior. He's spitting out, he's probably spitting out some blood right there. He's got blood running down his elbow. Look for him roll to the left, maybe a throwback to the right.
Nicco Marchiol, the West Virginia commit, rolls to his left. Here comes the pressure. Marchiol for the pylon. He's in. Hamilton leads.
Hey, Nicco Marchiol putting in a day's work. Laying out. I love the call. You get your athletic quarterback to the perimeter. Finding the pylon. He's exhausted. He has every right to be. I know there's...
Oh, yeah. And as my brother Ron Wolfley has always said, if you bring enough dogs in the locker room, even the cats are going to start barking. And I have here Nicco Marchiol, freshman quarterback for the West Virginia University Mountaineers, here on the WolfMan's call. And Nicco, I'm going to say this, in terms of football, I'm going to call you a dog. What do you say?
Man, I think you wouldn't be wrong.
Doesn't mean we don't like cats, so we all know that, right? But that's it. But in terms of we're a dog, well, my man, it is good to have you. And, just going back to that, and I'm going to tell you, what usually, I wait for a young man such as yourself, a young brother, when you get here on campus, you get playing, you get reps, whether it be practice or in game, I'm like, start to really get the respect. One of the few times I've ever watched high school where I'm like, wow, okay, talent is talent. Everybody's that's going to play Division I Power 5 has some form of talent. But what you have is something internal, and I'm not just saying that about the throwing up. What I'm saying is that shows me I want you in my foxhole, man. I want you there watching my back. That's that right there. Let me ask you this: going through that, what kind of experience was that for you?
Yeah, so that was that's something you remember for the rest of your life. That's something that that group of team, that senior group of Huskies that we came together and we did that. We'll always remember that. We'll always be able to have that title. But something that's, important to me that's always been instilled is you can't get complacent with what you've done. Yeah, that was such an amazing accomplishment for us. That was, the highlight of our year. That's the coolest thing we could have ever done. But there's more to life, and this is the next challenge that I'm here with now with the Mountaineers and taking on this team and embracing them and hopefully making a crazier memory than that with these guys. So I will always remember that moment, but I'm focused on this time right here, right now.
Right on to that. Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I like what you're saying. But I want to know, but first is, what kind of confidence, that was on ESPNU, by the way, I got that from ESPNU. What kind of confidence did that bestow in you? Or was your confidence always there? Did it add to it? Well, how did it help you matriculate to the next level?
Yeah, so, before this, you and I were talking about my dad, and he's been such a big part of instilling that confidence in me. I wrestled growing up all throughout high school, or all throughout middle school, and then a little bit into high school. And I think that sport's like nothing else. It's one-on-one. You're, just proving your dominance over another kid your age. So that was really something that helped me. And, confidence can be, I think it can be learned. I think it's something also people can be born with. I think it's learned through experience. The more challenging situations you're put in, the more, not so much life or death, but the more threatening situations you're put in, the more it'll either prove if you got it in you or if you don't. Pressure makes diamonds, and so some people come through and others don't. So I think that everyone in this life has to go through hardships, and you have to go through challenges to see what you're really made for. And that's just something that's been instilled in me since I was young.
Dang, I never used the term, and I'm how old I am, right? Everybody knows I'm very old. Pressure makes diamonds. I don't think I've ever used that. That's pretty good. Tell me about your family, man. Because I think you're kind of like a lot like my family. I had two older brothers that played in the NFL. You had two older brothers that played in college, or I don't know how far they went. But tell me about your family.
Yeah, very similar. So two older brothers. One played at Texas A&M. The other one played throughout high school, and then went just working with my dad now in the concrete plant. And my dad's, I'm sure he's told you about his Power Mini deal with the battery charger.
Hey, we put it out here, man. You're gonna see it. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, my dad, he's always.
Tell me about your family, because a lot of it, Nicco, and I met your mom, and recently I know your dad, and the thing that we do, the ability is that we have to deal with older brothers, and older brothers can really be challenging, especially ones that are, I guess, more aggressive would be a good word for it, being in sports and all that, and help you along. And sometimes, you get a little bit tougher because you get a little beat on as well. So there's a lot to it. I think there's a little bit of you and I here being in kind of the same situation, although years and years apart. All right, so we'll go with that. Now, let's see. You moved on from high school, Hamilton High School. You're a Gatorade Player of the Year. You're a Husky, which is pretty cool. You came from Colorado. So what I want to know is, getting on campus, what was it like for you? Because you graduated early and you came this spring early.
Yeah, so right when I got on campus, it was like I started back to my freshman year of high school again. It's like no one, people know who you are, but like we were talking about earlier, you got to earn the respect of people. So I was right back at the bottom of the totem pole, and I was going to work my way up as far as my teammates, showing them what I could do. But I just remember my early memories of being on campus were the advice I got when I was coming from Hamilton was, keep your mouth shut, don't have an ego, be the hardest working guy, and earn the trust of your teammates. And I think there's very many different forms of leadership. There's authentic ways and there's non-authentic ways. I think the way that you build it up the most is by one, being the hardest worker. If everyone can look at you, no matter if you're the loudest guy in there, if you're the most quiet, if you're the most hardest working guy, then people got no choice to be like, I can follow that guy into battle. So I think I've always prided myself in being the hardest working guy in the room. And, that challenged me coming to West Virginia because, our strength staff and the things we endure are up there with some of the toughest things I've ever done. I put our strength staff against anyone in the country. So the things, it's definitely when you're a young guy, you kind of have to figure out when the right time is to lead older people, because I'm coming in, I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid, and I'm supposed to be telling 24, 25-year-olds with kids, with wives and families, to tell them what to do, getting on their butt a little bit. So that's challenging. That's a new challenge that I had to embrace, but that's what comes with leadership. So a big emphasis on when I was coming in is, okay, what's the right way to approach becoming a leader? How do I show these guys that I have their best interest and mine? So just trial and error is something that I went through. Just hard.
Yeah. It's tough, Nicco, because I gotta imagine what you were just saying. I was just gonna really talk to you about that, trying to tell older guys what to do. Because when I come in, I was just say I was a senior. I can remember back and some young guys, and you're like, whoa, you got to earn that trust. Absolutely. If you come in and I'm like, okay, you were great at Hamilton High School. I love what you said. He said, be quiet, be humble, but when it's time to exert yourself to lead, then it's time to go ahead and do so. And I think you're right there. You're right in the proper transition that you need to be. And so I really like what you got. You seem like your head's in the right spot. So that's just coming from an old dog, an old coach coming up there. And keep that about you. Do you know what I'm saying? Keep that about you, because when you lose that, you're going to lose your brothers. Your brothers, you're going to lose that. So I'm not really worried about you. I think that's important. So let's get right to this year and last year. Last question for about last year. Oklahoma State game, you really got a chance to get in there. Now, you didn't lose your redshirt year. Okay, you got redshirt last year, but you did get to go against a Big 12 opponent, and you did get a lot of repetitions. What was it like for you? What were your thoughts? And did it help you grow for yourself? Right.
So it was interesting that whole week, that whole pretty much the last half of the season. That's when I started getting reps with the team. I started getting some team reps, and then there was a program after where I was getting all the we called it the developmental reps for it. So I was getting close to 70, 80 reps of practice, which was huge for my development. So so I remember thinking when I went in, so Garrett went down the play where he ran it up the middle and got hit, and then I heard that crack, and then I immediately looked to another quarterback on the sidelines. I was like, let's start throwing, let's get loose. And I was like, okay, if this is this is God telling me this is my time, this is my moment, this is opportunity comes at the most random times when you don't expect it, and of course it's going to come in the moment when it's pouring down rain, it's horrible, cold, and the ball feels like you're throwing a weighted football, and it's like, okay, well, this is the environment I'm put in. Let's perform. Let's do what we know how to do. So, I remember. So I just spent side story. I spent a lot of time in Arizona training with Brock Osweiler, and he was telling me a lot about Peyton Manning's preparation before games, and since he wasn't very gifted physically as far as speed or strength or anything, he beat everyone with his mind. So that's what I try to hone in on is, okay, if I can outsmart the defense, if I can, predict where they're going to be, if I can tell them where they're going to be before the play starts, then, you got the answers to the test. So that was a real emphasis on me. That game was just, my preparation. Preparation is the thing that makes you feel the most secure about your success. If you prepare at the highest level, then you have no doubt in your mind that you're going to perform. So with great preparation, I went out there and I got the ball to the athletes. It's pretty simple. I did my job, and I got the ball to the people who can get to the edge and make the plays. So I just remember being so excited. I remember thinking, when you got out there, these dudes are way bigger than you see on film. You're looking at some of the top players in the Big 12, and but the ball snapped, and you're like, you know what? This is just like I was doing in practice all week. Just different
Yeah.
color jersey.
It's so cool. Dude. I was watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, "Oh man, coming on off the coast at Oklahoma State, it's not even at home out there." And you're 19 years old, I believe, at the time, and you're a big guy now. You're 225. You can range anywhere from 222 to 230. I figure right now you're probably, what do you want to be now? Your weight, where do you want to be at?
Right in that range, 223, 224.
Okay, so you're right there. So you're a big guy. You're 6'1". You got some juice to you. You're left-handed. Do you feel like there's any advantage for you as a left-handed quarterback?
Absolutely. I think it's something the defenses have to prepare for. It's something that they got to think about. If all week you're prepping and you're putting your best corner on the defensive right, then or the defensive left. Sorry, then when it's game time, you come out there and you have a lefty quarterback and he's slicing the left side of your field. So it gives them another thing to think about. That's kind of the whole idea with trick plays too. Is let's just work on it. Let's just have it in our infantry. So if we need it, it's something they got to prepare for. So I think it definitely brings a different element of preparation defenses. It's something you don't see all the time. I know it's something that our offense appreciates, because when you have a guy like Garrett and I, you have two totally different skill sets. So we can both go in there and make plays, and we both lead the guys differently, and we both have different strengths. So I think it's definitely an advantage.
And that's for sure. And we must admit it. We'd say you're in a competition right now with Garrett Green, and we have a lot of respect for him as well. He's another teammate, another brother, and just like I look at you there, Nicco, and so it's good. I think it's healthy. I don't think you don't want competition. Because I think iron sharpens iron. I believe you had that in the gym with Mike Joseph there. Iron sharpens iron. Just like the swords, and people do each other, and it's the same thing. So, all right, I'll get off my pulpit and stop the preaching. But let's move on to now. The last time I saw you was the day before the spring game, and you were on our show with the Country Roads Trust Brotherhood. Okay, the spring game happened. What have you been doing since?
Oh man, the spring game. So since then, I went back to Arizona with my family, and it's been a lot more, like I was talking about earlier, the mental preparation. It's been a lot more mental grooming than anything. I've tried to really focus on the little things. If you can do the little things flawlessly, then where they become unconscious, then that's when you make strides. So I've really honed in on just working on the basics: coverage, identifying coverages, protections, footwork, some like simple things like your run game footwork. If you can perfect those things, then it slows down the game just that half a millisecond. That's all you need at this level. So the details has been the emphasis this period from the spring game after. So and that's what this summer's for. What this summer is for us to get our timing with our receivers. It's for us to know the playbook like the back of our hands. It's for us to build trust. It's for us to shared struggles, like running the hill, doing these conditioning tests, doing all these hard things together. So when it's the fourth quarter, you can count on the guy next to you. So it's a big learning period for us, and we're embracing it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That opens up a whole line of thinking for me, because, being an offensive line, I was a head football coach, so I know what plays are. I know this and I know that. But when you get into the particulars, like if I try to tell a kicker what to do, I destroy him. Okay, I would say just go ahead and make it right.
Right.
But for you as a quarterback, how easy is it in your young experiences for you to forget your fundamentals a bit and get out of that groove? Is it easy or is it not?
Oh, absolutely. I think we have something called edge work, and coach describes it as it's something easy to do and it's something easy not to do. They're very, very easy things to forget about when, especially like you said, at the position we play, you have a million things moving at you. And I think I was just talking to my dad today about time management, how that kind of fits into it. Is the more you can focus on what's important now. That's what we take for WIN, is the acronym, what's important now. If you can focus on what's right in front of you, then it slows down everything. So it's very, very simple. It's very easy to forget the simple things, but That's why you build a routine. That's why you get good habits, and the faster I can, hone in on those things, the better we'll be on the field.
You know what I like about you, Nicco, is that you've already taken, but in your answers to my other questions, you also start to answer my other questions that I haven't even asked you yet. So we're moving along with this interview pretty good. It's really not an interview. I call this the conversation, the Marchiol conversation.
We're just having a conversation, yes,
You're
sir.
just having a conversation. Okay, so let's see. You are in competition, and you are young, and you've already gone over all that, and I think we understand you very well with that. And I'm thinking, is what's your focus, preparation, individually, offensive team, and then team?
For sure, yeah. Starting with the team, I think this is a period where we're going to kind of build our identity. Who do we want to be as an offense? I think we want to be a team who thrives in the red zone. I think we want to be a team who is very explosive. We have guys who can be explosive and out of the backfield with CJ. We have guys who will make the plays downfield like Devin Carter. So we want to be an explosion, and we want to be a sound offense. We want to be technically sound. We want to be fundamentally sound. We want to be a smart, controlled offense where we don't jump off sides. We don't have pre-snap penalties, post-snap penalties. We're a very disciplined offense. I think those are some of the key points that we try to focus on. I think as an offense, so that was pretty much the offense answer. But team, I think we want to go back to the identity of the West Virginia people, where it's the blue collar fighters. We're
say what? You want to be a blue collar? Yes, this music to my ears. I absolutely love the team, and for you personally, Nicco, that you're coming. It's funny because I feel like you've been around for a while. I really do, because you were here for the early graduation, and you still have 4 years left. But you got to take them one at a time, because I promise you, young man, they go fast. They go really fast, and you have to make the most out of each and every year. And so I'm thinking to myself, what's your focus this year? As I know you're trying to be the starter, you're trying to lead the team, but where do you want to go personally yourself?
It's a great question. I think, it's something you think about all the time, but it's not, you don't have these definitive things that you want to work on. Obviously, you want to become the starter. You want to win all your games throughout the year. But I think the biggest thing I've tried to focus on is stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, as far as leading my teammates and doing things with them that I don't usually do, having them see different sides of me. And that's just built up with spending time with them. I think, some of my individual goals is to, build these relationships where they're just on my team for a year or two. This is a lifelong, relationship with these guys. So that's just built up with time spent together and shared struggles. So I think that the more I can get these guys to trust me, the more I can get them to believe in me and count on me, then the better we'll be off as a team. So that's kind of my main goal, is just to be the teammate that everyone wants to be around, be the guy that everyone wants to be off the field. And that's through doing the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do all the time. So I think they understand that. And
okay, so Nicco, I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you're saying, is a big part of your thing is you want to develop the relationship with your teammates and the trust, right? That you're saying, okay, cool. I like the answer very much, although it doesn't really matter what I have to say, what I like or don't like, but I'm going to give my opinion anyways, because that's why I'm here. It's WolfMan's call. I'm making the call, man, right? And that's the goal. Yeah. Oh, you're a good young man. Okay, so let's get into the actual, real quick, I just want to know is what's your actually daily routine like now?
That's something I've really started to take seriously is good habits, good routine. So my routine now, we wake up roughly at the same time every day, around 6 a.m., 6:30, and then our lifts we're lifting every day, we're lifting every other day, and then we're running every other day. So like for example, today we had a big time lower body lift, and the offensive skill group, we lifted early in the morning. So 6:30, get to the facilities, around 7, have an hour, a little over an hour to get my body ready for the lift or for the run or whatever we're about to take on. And, that includes pre-fueling whatever nutrients I want to get in. That includes weigh-in. That includes MIP is something we call muscle injury prevention. So that's, you're stretching, you're going over the hurdles, your bands, all the good stuff. So, we put all our time in these increments of like 4 hours, I'd say. So we'll go and get our lift done, and then the rest of the period, kind of until the afternoon or the evening until we eat, is edge work, like I was telling you about before. So that's when we work on the things that your individual needs. So that could be, if you're a guy that needs work on speed, get some extra conditioning in, or get with Coach Mike and you work on ladder drills, stuff like that. So there's other, like for me, for example, like my emphasis has been, like I said, my drops. So that's a period where I go in and I'll work on, my run game footwork, my pass game footwork, where my eyes need to be on certain plays. I'll also use that period to do, some shoulder maintenance. Obviously recovery is a big part of it too. So the ice baths. But the biggest thing about our day-to-day routine is just that it's the more you can make it the same every single day, the easier it becomes, the more habitual it comes to where it's second nature. You're not thinking about, oh man, this ice bath is so cold, this run's so hard, this workout's so challenging, I'm sweating all this. It's this is my job, this is why I'm here. I'm going to focus on be where your feet are. This is what I need to do right now. Then I do this next thing, and then you really learn to enjoy the moments you have to yourself. Like when I get to come home and just be within myself, be with, when my parents are here, get to be with them. That you really learn to cherish those times. So just being in a good routine is so big for college athletes, I'd say.
That totally rocks. Dig your answers, man. I love being where your feet are, because that's in the moment, and that's making the most of every moment. Okay, so let's get to what you like, because I want to bring you back here and maybe go through some film work with you. And you tell me what you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, I'm not going to be telling you what it is. You're going to be telling me right off the bat. But I think it's cool. So, last but not least, favorite passing routes. What are your combinations? What do you like to throw? What do you like to run? And last of the questions for football, before we have a little bit of fun, is how committed to you are you running the ball as a quarterback and making the box more even in numbers? For
sure. I think it's the biggest piece of the run game you can have. If you have, you got to think about your running backs. Those are your main run threats, but then you got to prepare for a quarterback too. That's scary. So I think it's a big piece of my game that I'm going to be adding this season. It's something I've been working on since spring, since I got back from, since we started spring ball pretty much. It's going to be a huge piece of my game, because if you can, the deep play, bring 3 people and drop 8, and what's the one thing they still can't defend is the quarterback scramble, the quarterback run. So that's going to be a huge part of my game, as well as, forcing the ball downfield. So my favorite routes.
Are they single routes? Are they combinations? What are they?
So a little bit of everything. I think if you're throwing to a guy like essentially your answer is going to be a post. I'm throwing a post to my big man up top. He's going to go make a play downfield. You're throwing to a sneaky slot type of guy like Jeremiah Aaron or Preston Fox or Deshaun Polk. I like outbreaking routes. I like where you just got to get the ball on the outside shoulder and they make one man miss and then they're home free. So I like outbreaking routes to them. I like whip routes in the slots. I think with our more intermediate guys like Cortez or Hudson Clement, I like in breaking routes, right behind the linebacker. So your digs, your bang eights, your ones where you can trust a bigger guy to go in there and he can take a hit if he needs to and he can go make a play.
So when you say the Big Eights, I see you getting all fired up, man. You're getting excited. I know I hit the right button, push the button on that one, talking
man.
about your routes combination. But there's one I want to go ahead and because I know you're going to say yeah when you talk about your tight ends. What do you think? You got some big old tight ends there with some long old arms and probably hands that are yo big. And I'm speaking of Cole Taylor. I'm speaking of Traylon Davis. I can go down the whole line there. But you got some tight ends, man. How are you planning when you use them in your offense? And just everybody, not just you, but
For
the
sure.
offense.
Yeah, those are your red zone guys. Like, shoot, we may even put Cole Taylor out there one-on-one and just have him go make a play. 'Cause he's so athletic. He's athletic enough to do that. Those are your secure catches. Those are your third down guys, your red zone guys. Those are a special position. You can put it. They have a wide catch radius, so that you put it pretty much anywhere, and they're going to come down with it. The tight ends are, and like you said, we were very, very. We have some depth in the tight end room. We have a lot of different skill sets in the tight end room, so we can get a lot of different fronts, a lot of different formations, and have threats all over the field. So I'm really, really excited for that position. They're very useful to our offense too. So.
Okay, very cool. All right, I lied. I said a couple last questions. I didn't mean to lie, but I just keep bringing up more and more. Yeah. So when if you had to throw the ball to me and the game was on the line, what would you tell me to do? Would you tell me to do a post, or would you tell me to do a swing pass?
Well, where are we on the field? Are we red zone? Are we middle
I don't think it really matters.
Well, you know what? Even if we're on our own one, I might just take the one-on-one jump ball. Wolf against the world, man. Go up and make a play for me.
Yeah, because you know what? Vertical is my specialty.
There's
no doubt about it. All right, Nicco. Well, listen, I'm going to bring you back, man. We got some more stuff I want to talk about. I'd like to actually have you help me, train me to be to think more of a quarterback's mind. Because I think I was a defensive coordinator, offensive line guy, head coach. But I think I want to start learning what you're learning and know. You cool with that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Well, let's first get this out here, man. Tell me about your 2023 Fowlsby thing going on as your guest speaker.
So I met with the mayor last week, and they're hosting a dinner with some very notable of Fowlsby, and they offered me to come be the keynote speaker for the event. And I know it's a very proud, just like anywhere in West Virginia, it's a very, they bleed gold and blue there. So it's a great opportunity for me to be with the community, meet the community, share a little bit about my story. I know I'm going to be talking about, what family means to me, what my heritage means to me, being Italian, and then coming into an Italian culture here in West Virginia. So just a wide variety of things. But, David and everyone, putting on that event has been very humbling for them to, have me as the keynote speaker. So I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I'm here. Listen up, Clarksburg, because I've been saying this since I called the spring game a year ago, not this past year, a year ago. Okay, it's Nicco's Italian Army, and he loves the pepperoni roll. He loves it, man.
That's my favorite right there. You should have seen me, Wolf. This weekend on the golf course, I was crushing them. I probably had 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, you keep doing so, man. Keep on rocking. We'll talk to you soon. Nicco Marchiol.
Thank you so much, Wolf. You're the man.
No, Nicco, I think you are the young man that is about to be the man for the Mountaineers, whenever that may come. And, boy, I tell you, if you don't enjoy that with Nicco Marchiol, I'm just looking right here. I see Frank Fear. I was so impressed with Nicco and what's happening behind the scenes to enable the team to be successful. You have to have a process and then trust the process if you want positive outcomes. Frank Fear, that's our Frank Fear guy on Monday, the hour. The author, obviously, he's a historian. He keeps coming up with big things for the WolfMan's call, so that's really good insight there, Frank. And I'm just going to say this, man. I played that video of Nicco in high school. And I know it's high school. Don't worry about it. I'm not caught up in the fact that high school. But I'm going to tell you what it does. All I needed to do was watch that series of plays. He had 47 seconds to score 2 touchdowns. He is out there. He's throwing up. He's giving everything he's got. He's bleeding. All right, the announcers are telling him that the coach is going to take him out, that it's not his day. And the last minute, that's the guy you want, Mountaineers. Okay, whenever Nicco's turn is called, that's the guy you want in your foxhole. That's the guy you want playing your big games. Okay, that is character. That has nothing to do with talent. Okay, so understand what I'm saying here. This young man's got a lot to learn and experience and go through. But look how far he is already. And he's just 19 years old. That's all I got to say, man, about that. And Kelly, of course, great interview. Wolfman, well, I'll tell you what, he sure makes it easy, doesn't he? Young, mature man like that makes it easy. And we're going to keep bringing him back. You know, I developed a friendship with his family, and I liked it. I wanted him to keep coming. And I'm going to bring some other young brothers on the show as well, because I think it's so valuable. Let us know what they think. And if they're willing to come on and come on the WolfMan's call, man, it's so cool. But Nicco right now is that I haven't met a young man like him with his maturity, his experience, with that, whatever you want to call that, inside you. Or maybe that's just called a winner. Maybe that's what it is, because maybe he won that game. National TV, ESPNU, it was Hamilton, out there, high school, Arizona. I mean, it doesn't get much better, man. And coming out in the last minute, man, legends are made out of that. I bet you go back to Hamilton High School, they're all going to remember that for the rest of their lives. Okay, so let's move on here. And the next thing I want to talk about, we're moving on. Boy, I tell you, I just fired up. How about you guys, huh? I mean, seriously, that was so cool. Oh, yeah, let's do this, because I promised everybody I would do this here. So we're going to jump on, subscribe to the Voice of College Football West Virginia. YouTube, that's how you get the WolfMan's call, because it's the West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. Why? Because WolfMan's call rocks football. I think we just showed you why. We just rocked football with Nicco Marchiol. And if you're watching on Facebook, share it, man. Share it. Doesn't matter, even if you're not watching live, because it's stored all the time, and I know many of you watch it not live. But if you can't, just share it. Or if you're watching on Twitter, just tweet it. Pretty soon we're going to be coming from Instagram, and we're going to be getting some really cool stuff. So, Voice of College Football West Virginia YouTube, get it done.